landed at 881 words, within the 900 plus or minus 5% target. Here's the complete script. Microsoft's licensing terms are still blocking your company's software from running on a rival cloud right now, and the European Commission can't stop it. A clause buried in a document called the Product Terms decides, this second, whether your Windows Server license works on Amazon or Google the same way it works on Azure. It doesn't. The mechanism has a name: license mobility. Microsoft granted it. Microsoft also quietly carved it back out for exactly the three companies that could challenge Azure's dominance. And it's still running. Officially, license mobility exists to set you free. If you bought Windows Server or SQL Server under software assurance, Microsoft's own marketing says you can move that license anywhere, on-prem, private cloud, any public cloud, without buying it again. That's the pitch. That's what regulators were told when they asked whether Microsoft's cloud practices were fair. Flexibility, portability, customer choice. The feature is real. The code that enforces it is real. It's sitting in the licensing terms document right now, publicly available, technically in effect, technically working exactly as described for exactly one destination. Here's what it actually does. Buried inside that same product terms document is a category called listed providers. Three names sit on it: Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, and Alibaba. If you want to move your existing Windows Server or SQL Server license onto one of those three clouds, license mobility doesn't apply to you. You have to buy new licenses or rent Microsoft's software at the cloud provider's markup, dollar for dollar, license for license, every single time. Move that same workload onto Azure instead and the restriction disappears. No repurchase, no markup. The exact same software, the exact same license, treated as free and portable in one place and financially locked in every other place a customer might want to run it. The clause doesn't say block competitors. It just lists three companies by name and stops there. Analysts hired to study the effect put the resulting price gap at roughly 30 to 50% higher for identical workloads, for no technical reason at all. And it's still running on every enterprise agreement Microsoft signs today, right now, while you watch this. CISPE, the trade body representing Europe's cloud infrastructure providers, filed a formal complaint over exactly this in 2022. The European Commission opened an inquiry. Microsoft's own economic customers, cloud companies with nowhere else to escalate, told Brussels this single clause was worth billions in lost European cloud revenue that had nowhere to go except back to Azure. In 2024, Microsoft settled with CISPE, but only with CISPE, only covering European members who signed onto the deal, and only for a defined slice of products. The listed provider clause itself, the actual mechanism, stayed in the master licensing terms for everyone else on the planet. Customers in Singapore, in Sao Paulo, in Sacramento are still bound by the version nobody settled. And here's the part nobody reported. The regulator already knew how the loophole survives. It's not hidden in code, it's hidden in scope. Microsoft never has to defend a global antitrust ruling on this, because no single regulator holds global jurisdiction over a private licensing contract. The FTC opened its own cloud computing inquiry in 2023, asking the exact same question about lock-in. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority flagged licensing as a top 3 barrier to cloud switching that same year, and referred cloud competition for a deeper investigation. 3 different regulators, 3 different continents, all circling one clause, and none of them can compel a worldwide rewrite of a private commercial contract, because each one only has authority over its own market. Microsoft settles regionally, keeps the clause globally, and every agency involved calls it progress. The mechanism isn't sophisticated. It's jurisdictional. That's what makes it unstoppable. You can't sue a company into rewriting a document that technically already grants the freedom it's quietly withdrawing from 3 specific names on a list. Fix the clause in Brussels, and it still stands in Ohio. Fix it in Ohio, and it still stands in Sydney. If your company runs Microsoft software anywhere outside Azure, this clause is already priced into your bill, whether you've read the product terms or not. Every dollar of cloud migration cost your finance team has ever budgeted for moving off Azure includes a hidden repurchase tax that exists purely because of where the workload lands, not what it does. Enterprises that never ask to be loyal to Azure become loyal by default because the math only works one way. The audit trail is public. The contract is public. Almost nobody outside procurement and legal ever reads it, which is exactly why the clause has survived 2 regulatory inquiries and 1 partial settlement without ever being renamed, removed, or explained to the customers actually paying for it. And it's still running under your own vendor agreement, whether your legal team has flagged it or not. So ask yourself who wrote 3 specific company names into a licensing document instead of a general rule, and why, 4 years and 2 continents of regulatory scrutiny later, those 3 names are still on the list, still costing you money, every time your workload picks the wrong cloud. Want me to save this as a file, or is dropping it here enough for your workflow?